Hello YouTube, this is Axis 0096 about to do a review for War Gundam X. Now, it should be known that this entry in the Mobile Suit Gundam franchise, much like the original Gundam, was cut from a production range of 50 episodes down to 39. This is because at the time, the ratings were not too great after it had followed after Wing and G Gundam in Japan. That being said, the show is quite a bit more action-oriented. It's not so much dialogue. I mean, even though here in the States we only get it in subtitle, there has been some murmurings of a dub. I still recommend it as a lost entry to the US releases by Bandai. The reason for this is, years ago I discovered that they had intended, after Wing ended in the States, to premiere an English dub of War Gundam X sometime in the early 2000s. Now, there are many reasons why this did not happen. Most notably, Turner changing their format for Cartoon Network here on the States channels. That being said, and that little afterthought mention, War Gundam X has aged surprisingly well. I really recommend it for anyone who watched Gundam pretty much in the 1990s, because even though it's technically an alternate Universal Century timeline, it more or less resembles Gundam Wing in the format, in that there's a Gundam team. In this case, it has four suits. They consist of the Gundam X itself, which later becomes Gundam X Divider, Gundam Double X, Gundam Airmaster, and its upgrade Airmaster Burst, and Gundam Leopard, and its upgrade Gundam Leopard Destroy. There are two opponent Gundams as opposed to Wing's singular Gundam Epion. There's the Gundam Versago and the Gundam Versago Chestbreak, its upgrade, and the Gundam Ashtron and Ashtron Hermit Crab, which is like a mobile armor mode suit. An interesting side note is a kind of a connection intra-universe, is that in Iron-Blooded Orphans, I believe one of the early to mid episodes, Mikazuki August mentions that the moon of the Earth was heavily damaged by an ancient battle. This may be a collaborative effort to mention War Gundam X's 39th and most climactic battle, in which the satellite system was destroyed on the lunar surface, to the point that the moon was pretty much scoured clean. Now, that interesting little connection nods that this series, IBO, is a direct continuation of After War, much later in its timeline. Now, whether or not this is ever confirmed, I think it's pretty much a done deal. This is the only series where the moon was destroyed partially, and then it's later mentioned in another canon work. Anyways, about the series in general, it's 39 episodes long, available in English subtitles. However, it's a very fluid story. It flows along. I give the story about a A, not an A+, because unfortunately it has shown some signs of aging. The second point is the soundtrack. Let's face it, Resolution Opening 2 and Dreams Opening 1 are some of the best Gundam opening Sunrise has ever come up with. I'll give the opening music and music scores a solid A+. Characters, that's kind of one of its failings, but it's still a very high B A-. Some of their flaws kind of stand out like others. Others, you kind of have to do some guesswork with what they're talking about. And then, of course, there's the mobile suit designs, which I give pretty much a solid A+. Specifically the Double X, which if you've ever seen any, comparisons, this Gundam is far more powerful than I would assume Wing Gundam Zero is. Wing Gundam Zero can destroy, satellites and colonies with one hit. This suit can charge up from an auxiliary power station and obliterate probably small planets, if not an entire star, if it really tried. This suit is by far the god of all Gundams because of its power. However, that is also its caveat. Would you really want to destroy the Earth if you aimed just a little too close to it? Anyways, my overall review for After War Gundam X, his story and everything, is about a solid A. I would really recommend it to people who, love subtitled Gundams and probably have wondered, well, we heard this rumor on Toonami, why wasn't it on it? There's many reasons for that, but as I said, this video pretty much covers it. Anyways, this is After War X's review, courtesy of Axis 0096. And as always, the moon will always be there.